Hey, what's up, guys? And welcome back to Skream Scene TV. Yeah, I did. I changed the name a little bit. Instead of the Skream Scene, it's now Skream Scene TV. Smash that thumbs up, comment below, share this on social media. Postings every week here. I got my awesome, amazing friend, Krista. I was gonna say longtime friend. It feels like we've been friends for a long time now. It hasn't been that long, but super stoked to have her back. It's been a minute. Krista, how are you?
I'm doing very well. I haven't talked to you in so long, it feels like. You've just been so busy.
Life has been busy, but you really know that you're friends with somebody when like time can go by and you still make an effort to check in with them, and you've always done that with me. I've done it. I haven't felt like I've done a good job of it, but it's only because I think that this year and I think the last 3 years have been the busiest years of my life. And I think that in 3 years, I've been trying to learn how to balance everything. And I'm finally there. So now I feel like things are getting a little bit easier. And I happened to meet you in that time frame. So I think that that's what it was.
I think it's been in October, it will be about 2 years since we've known each other outside of, following you on social media here and there. But this is the most busy I've ever seen you two since you opened the store, really.
Yeah. And the movies take a lot, but I think really the reason this last movie, which we're going to talk about in a minute here, guys, Cop Killer, I think Cop Killer took so long this time just because, yeah, the store, dude, like I ain't gonna lie. Every time we hire somebody and I have high hopes for them, and I think like, okay, finally, we've got somebody good in here, man. It's gonna be smooth sailing. They're calling out sick the very first day of work, or a few days in, or it's just always something. And I've kind of learned like I have to be willing to be at the store more than I would like to be. I like being there. However, like I want to give a certain amount of time a week, a month to the films and to YouTube and to my friends and family. And I think I've finally learned how to balance all of it. And I ain't gonna lie, there's some days that are more stressful than others, but I feel like I'm finally there to where the stress levels are better maintained, and most of the time they're non-existent. So
It does look like you're out, like, going to the shows that you went to or the boxing matches. You're actually trying to have a life outside of your work too, which is, I'm not used to you doing that.
yeah, I definitely am. And you too. I seen you were in Colorado and you sent me some beautiful pictures. How was that?
That was amazing. We went for my friend's birthday. We stayed up in the mountains at some hot springs. Mount Princeton Hot Springs is what it was called. And I sent you pictures from the Royal Gorge, which we took like a train ride up the river. And it's such a beautiful area. And it's only, I don't know, about an hour and a half from where I live. So,
Nice.
mhm.
Did you guys go in the hot springs?
Yeah, we did. It was snowing the day that we did it. And my friend went and got massages for her birthday. And I ain't gonna pay $250 for a massage. I'll just give myself one. So I stayed in the hot springs by myself, and my best friend's husband, actually, Rachel's husband, stayed out there with me, and they were inside, and it was snowing and beautiful, and like how the hot springs look all steamy in the air, and
Yeah.
so cool. And we actually ended up meeting the guy who ran the place. His son was out there hanging out with us. It was a lot of fun.
That sounds really cool.
Mhm.
One thing I heard you use the word gorge there. There's a movie that I seen about 4 nights ago called The Gorge. Have you heard of this yet?
No, only The Grudge.
Right. Well, The Grudge is great, but so Miles Teller, I love Miles. He's been in quite a bit of films. I remember the first time I ever seen him, he was in that movie. What's it called? The movie with the three kids. They're following him around with the camera, and they have like the biggest party ever. Uh, I'll think of it in a minute.
The
But
one with
anyway,
like the dinosaur?
that was the one where the kids like they burned down like their parents' house and the helicopters came and they had all the music going and stuff and they were popping Molly and
The end of the world or end of
something X.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But anyway, Miles Teller, he also was in Maverick, Top Gun. He was a guy dancing on the beach with the shirt off. That shit went super viral. But he's a great actor, and he's in this movie called The Gorge. So I watched this movie the other night with Alicia, and I didn't know what to expect. I'm just a fan of Miles. This movie actually has like horror elements to it. And I didn't go into it watching it because I thought it was a horror. I just was taking a chance on a random movie, which I rarely ever do. Like it almost has to be horror. I won't click on it. But we're watching it, and there's a lot of there's a lot of it of a love story there, but there's some horror elements, and it is really fucking good. Like you got to put this on your list, man. This is basically he's like a world-class sniper, and he's sent to protect this place called the Gorge. And when he gets there, he's supposed to be there for a year, like by himself, and not supposed to have any communication with the outside world. Well, he finds another girl on the other side of the gorge. She's supposed to be there for a year, protecting from the other side, and they end up communicating and basically, spoiler alert, just like kind of falling in love. But what they find out,
like, do they know that they're working together or?
Yeah, they know that they're working together, and they know they're not supposed to communicate with each other, but they start breaking the rules, and before you know it, he's creeping over the gorge, ziplining across to go over there and get in her pants and have a good time and have dinner and start having some romantic chemistry. But what they both don't realize is what they're actually protecting, because they can't see into this gorge. Well, once they realize there's like these evil monsters, there's these mutant-like things, creatures, that's why they're there. And some of these things are super scary looking. Like, it really shocked me once it started happening. I looked at Alicia and I was like, oh my God, it's a horror. And she was like, oh, great. I thought we finally landed on something that wasn't.
Her favorite.
Yeah, because it said suspense, and I'm like, okay, all right, I can do some suspense. And it ended up just being really good. So I think you would love it. I kind of know your style, so I think this would be up your alley.
I'll have to check that one out. It sounds interesting. I've never even heard of it. Is it old? How long has it been out? Do you know?
It's come out this year. It hasn't been out that long. I think I believe it's come out within like the last 2 or 3 months here. So
have you heard of The Drop? Have you watched that one yet?
The Drop?
Drop.
No, I have not. What's that?
It's a thriller, kind of. Like, it's not a horror, but you know how you were recently telling me that you're kind of getting into like thriller type style movies, not necessarily only horror. It's about a woman on a first date, and you know how you can drop on somebody's phone and you start messaging them. She's got a hostage situation back at home. Somebody had kidnapped her son, and so they're telling, the main goal is they want her to kill her date, and they're sending her video of the kid, and they're watching every move that she makes in this restaurant. They even have it down to like what table she has to be sitting at. It's actually really, really good and very intense, like nonstop action. It's like, what is she going to do next? Like, how is she going to get out of this situation? Because there's somebody there with cameras on even in the bathroom. They would leave notes in the bathroom, like, put this in your date's drink, because they wanted to kill him.
That actually sounds like a really great concept for a film. And yeah, I definitely want to check that out. When did you see this?
I think I watched it last week. I got it on Vudu. So
okay. All right. So if you guys have Vudu, you can go check that out. I have Vudu, so I'll definitely, I don't know if I'll get that in tonight, but I'm definitely going to put that on my list. Speaking of things on my list, Final Destination Bloodlines is out, and it killed it at the movie theater. this last weekend. I seen something about, I think yesterday it said something like it's raked in over $50 million in 3 days, something like that. But it was Tony Todd's last movie.
Yeah.
And R.I.P. Tony Todd. And when I first seen the pictures of him in the movie, I had never seen him like that before. He looked like he looked like he was in bad health. He was very, very skinny looking. He looked very frail to me. But supposedly it's an incredible film, and I'm dying to go see that. It's heavy on my list, and I'm probably going to go see it within the next few days here.
That's on my list too, and I actually re-binged all of the other ones just to like prepare for the new one. And I'm so excited to see what they can do different, because by the end of the ones that have already been released, it just got so redundant. I mean, everything was the same down to the language, you know, down to them trying to figure out how to break the chain. It's like every movie was the same storyline over and over, except they tried to relate how the last one went before this new one came out. They tried to relate. It was like a time jump, which was kind of cool. That was the only aspect I liked about that last one that I saw.
I was gonna say, which one was your favorite? Was it 1, 2, 3?
Probably the first three would be my favorite. Those were really epic. The first one was definitely epic because it was the first of its kind.
Right.
But then by the fourth, the fifth, it just kind of got to be like so redundant, like the same things over and over.
Yeah.
The chase of breaking the chain, and it never worked. So it's like nothing they did ever worked. So what makes them think that it's going to work this movie?
I loved the first one. I also enjoyed, I enjoyed the others, and even if I didn't love them as much as the first, like there was elements I loved about each of them. But the first one, is definitely a great film. And I remember back then when you seen that, you were like, wow, this is something, they've tapped into something really cool here. And the practical effects, the special effects, I mean, are really good in those films.
That bridge collapse, I think was that the last one before the one that's in theaters?
Oh, dude, that was insane.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I love that. Good, always a good cast, good choice of actors. Yeah, that series is just incredible.
They're doing a new crap, what is it? Is it Conjuring?
The Conjuring Last Rites. I just did a video covering that story on this channel. If anybody hasn't seen it yet, there might be a little spoilerage in there. I kind of went through the story from the beginning to end. Are you a big fan of the Conjuring movies?
Oh yeah, I love them. I'm a big fan. I actually re-binged all of those too recently. Just when I work, I just watch movies and work. So
I'm a big fan of Vera, the woman that plays Lorraine Warren. She is such an incredible actress. Alicia and I fell in love with her when we started watching the Bates Motel TV series. And I remember back then, we still binge that series once a year. I remember when we first ever seen it, we were just like, dude, this woman is going to be so, I think she had a good name in the business at that time, but we were like, dude, she's going to be massive. She is good. She is fast and just a quality of an actor. And now seeing what she's done since Bates Motel with the Conjuring movies, she's done just that, dude. She is a powerhouse.
Yeah. I started watching the Bates Motel after you suggested it to me. I got through I think maybe the first season, but I didn't stick with it yet. It's not that I disliked it, but it just isn't sticking with me.
Dude, I rarely get locked in to TV series. I don't know why. I want to. Like strangely, Stranger Things has locked me in. That's one that got me. The Wednesday TV series, I love the first season. I've been dying for the second season. We finally got a trailer here more recently for that. Alicia and I are both stoked for that, and that's crazy for her because she's not I think she appreciates horror. It's not necessarily her cup of tea, and Wednesday is light horror, but
Right.
she's been looking forward to that, and she's actually looking forward to Bloodlines as well. So I think there's like, I don't know if it's growing on her or not, but I wish there were more TV series that would just really. Have you seen any like horror TV series that have locked you in like in the past year?
Um, Evil, I believe it's called. There's a series called Evil on Netflix. That's actually really good. That one had me hooked and I binged the whole thing. You
You,
might actually like it. It's a good one. Um, there's some, I mean, I just finished watching 911, so that's not really horror, but that one really kept my attention as well. But it is hard for a horror series to stay good. I started Mayfield Witches. Have you guys watched that one? The Anne Rice one?
I I watched um I watched a little bit of the first season, for I guess the first few episodes, and I was not happy. I was not impressed, and I ended up just walking away from it. Sometimes I give these things like, if I'm not impressed with the first episode, like usually I'll give it a second. So I
Mhm.
think I made it for the first two episodes, and I was just like, this isn't for me. But I had high hopes. I really wanted to like it for sure.
I think I got like 7 or 8 episodes in, and it just kind of, it's good, but like you said, it's not keeping my attention. I'm not missing it, that I'm not watching it.
Yeah, that's when you know something's, not up to par, whenever, like, because there's good shows. I'll be at work or doing exercise, and I'll be like, I can't wait to finish to see how that goes.
Mhm.
And I've had that feeling with some shows, but it's been a while, man, and I really want to lock into something. I remember when I watched that TV show, I think it was Nurse Ratched. I was getting into that. I walked away from it, even though it was good. I need to go back and finish it, but it was getting good, it seemed like. Um,
That's on my list. Didn't see it.
it was actually, and that woman, she's a phenomenal actress. There was something else. Fear Street. You know what's crazy? I think there's elements of Fear Street that are okay, but I can't really lock in with that one either. Have you seen any of that?
I did, and they're coming out with another one. Is it like Prom something or other? Fear Street.
Right.
Yeah, I watched it. It's kind of immature. It's like for a younger generation, I think.
Yeah.
But it was okay. I did watch it. It didn't sit with me. But Evil, I really liked. And
Evil.
that's more of like there's a priest in there, and then there's a detective lady, and they hire her to be the objective opinion, like
Mm.
when they're investigating like possessions and supernatural. So every episode, it's like they're taking on kind of like a different case, and she's there to debunk, but then things start happening with her. The biggest thing that annoyed me about that series is her kids, because they are loud as fuck. And they're just so hyper. She has girls, like 4 girls maybe, and they just scream and scream and scream. And oh,
You know what that reminds me of? So the movie The Babadook. I
oh,
I love that movie, but the kid in that movie drove me crazy. And I think it was intentionally done. Like, sometimes if you can rack somebody's nerves, you can keep them on the edge, and then you can just come up and gut punch them with like some intense scene, and you've already got them there. But sometimes that doesn't work, because if you annoy somebody too hard, they're like, I can't even get through this. I got to walk away. I'm glad I stuck with it, but at the same time, I found myself getting very annoyed with that kid. It's the Babadook. It's the Babadook. It's the Babadook. It's the Babadook. And I'm like, I get it, but I don't want to. I think it ended greatly and stuff. And I do like that film, but I've often said, if they just would have told that kid to shut the fuck up, it could have went in such a better direction. And then maybe some people, they love that kid and they love that, but it just was really annoying to me. And I hate being annoyed when I watch something. And does anything ever do that to you?
yeah, Evil. But I love this show enough to where I could actually watch it. They have, do you know Michael Emerson? He's in there, and his character in there is so dynamic as far as what it does to the rest of the storyline and the cast. interesting. I think you would like it, but I do think those kids would annoy you. But I know exactly what you're talking about. There's people's voices that you just can't like get past.
Right. Yeah,
It'll
definitely.
it'll make me not watch a show, but I kept watching this one.
I'll definitely at least give it a look. There was some other things I remember. Some of them aren't coming to me, the names of them, but I remember at like V Wars. It seemed like that was pretty decent starting out. Remember True Blood back in the day?
Yeah, I like True Blood. I didn't watch it when it was out like live. I ended up binging it after it ended the series, but man, that was a great one.
Back when it came out, I had watched. I don't know if there was more than one season, but I watched almost the entire first season of it, and I remember I was like, I like it. I think this is going in a great direction, but it seemed like as it got closer to the end of the first season, things started getting a little weird and questionable. And I rewatched it a while back, and I enjoyed it more now than I did back then, but I still felt the same thing. Like the first few episodes are classic, and then I feel like it gets a little weird. I don't know. I hate when that happens, when you're really excited, then it's like somebody changes the formula all of a sudden.
Right. You completely lose interest. Or they overdo it like The Walking Dead. There's just too many of them. How can you possibly keep up? And now it's like 3 different shows.
We were talking about that in the store today. Yeah, I've only ever watched the first season of The Walking Dead. So I know I need to watch further than that, but I don't think I want to go 9 seasons in.
You know, it's the same thing with that too. Every season, or it's a different like boss that they have to try to defeat, and it does get old. It's like, how many Fast and the Furious movies can you make?
Dude, there are so many of those movies, and even though they are good, it is kind of like, guys, end it already, move on to something else. And you know, even me with Mallet, like, I've written the script for Mallet 3, but I don't think I'll ever do it. I don't think it's gonna happen. And Francis asked me the other day when it was coming, and I was just like, you know what? I felt like after 1 and 2, I felt like it was just time to move on. And it's not that it went that big, but it went big enough that we should make a 2. I don't think it went big enough that we should make a 3. You know, it was one of those fan things. I guess if fans want it, then you'll give it to them. So maybe that's what The Walking Dead did. They seen consistent numbers, and they said, well, people want it. Let's keep feeding them. And you know, we know we're going to make our money back, so let's keep producing it. But
you sure gave us one hell of a mask teaser at the end of Mallet too, though.
yeah, and that mask is sitting over here to the right. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to grab it. And honestly, it doesn't look like much. I think it was just enough for that. But when you look at it now, there's not much to it. It's not that crazy. I think what happened was we were down to that point, and I was like, I want people to think there's a totally different look coming to Mallet moving forward. And I just kind of threw it together. It was nothing insane, as you can see, pretty simple, but on camera with color correction and the right lighting, it actually, there's something about that, you know, whenever, you know what? I'm going to give you an example. Hold on. I'm going to show you. We're going to do a little filmography real quick. All right.
That one looks more demonic to me with the upside down cross. And
so you got to picture it like this, right? So there's a lot of light coming off the computer, but you know, whenever it, stand back a little bit, whenever it hits just right, the mask is better. So I kind of like, when I make things, I think about that, like, okay, what would be the best lighting for this? And you know, there's more madness to the science than you would think. But bottom line, I just don't think that movie's going to happen, because Mallet 1 did extremely well. Mallet 2 did really good. But I had said from the beginning, if it didn't exceed the numbers of 1, there would never be a 3. And I think people are okay with that, man. I'm happy to move on, and I just wish more people would do that, bro. Like sometimes you need to end something and move on.
I agree. Like the Walking Dead franchise.
Yeah. Well, with Smile, I'm really looking forward to a part 3. But I don't know how long I want to see it drag out. Like Terrifier, I almost would say like I'm good if they ended it at 3. I'm good.
That third one was great. That had my jaw dropping to the floor, and that does not happen to me very often.
I agree. Like I would say this though. Like they're staying on an algorithm, they're staying on a rhythm right now where they're saying next year we're going to have Terrifier 4. I want to keep seeing art, but I feel like it's one of those things like don't feed us too much, we will get full. Like let 3 years go by. Now I know the method to the madness is, well, no, we got a fire going right now, strike while the iron's hot. But I don't know. I think that's also a recipe for disaster where, you know, people are willing to wait for this character. I mean, people are still going to freaking Backstreet Boys concerts and NSYNC. Like,
I was gonna say, if anybody knows right now, Disney knows, because they keep trying to do these live action movies and they're failing miserably. Like Snow White. I think the only one that I've seen was The Little Mermaid, and that was pretty crappy. I didn't think it came out very good at all, but they just keep trying to, like you said, strike while the iron's hot. Well, people want to see Lilo and Stitch, but the live action movies just aren't hitting like the classics.
have you happened to watch Screamboat?
Screamboat. Is that with the Mickey Mouse? Like,
yeah. So Steamboat Willie instead of Steamboat, Screamboat. A guy I consider a friend, a very nice guy, man. I always know these people are they don't have their heads up their ass when we talk beyond like the cameras being on. Like some people are like, oh, the camera's on, let me go ahead and be a gentleman. And then sometimes the cameras go off and it's like, what happened to you? You're like, damn. But this guy went out of his way to talk a little extra and seemed like such a kind guy, and I've kind of followed him. He's done some great stuff. He did The Mean One, now he's done Screamboat, and got a very nice wife. She's an actress. She acts in the film. I'm actually hoping to have him back on here for an interview soon. I haven't seen the movie yet, but trailer looks good. Reviews look good. He's got like merch and things coming out with Spencer's now. So Screamboat's one to add to the list. And the guy who plays Screamboat is David Howard Thornton, who plays Terrifier.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. That is on my list. I have a screenshot of it. There's a few of those Disney ones out. The Winnie the Pooh ones actually were really good. You know, you would think that it would be just stupid and like one of those fail type movies, but no, it was done really well.
I love the Winnie the Pooh films. Absolutely. Yeah. Were you a fan of Winnie the Pooh growing up?
No. And that his voice, like talking about things that annoy you, Winnie the Pooh and Piglet's voices, they annoyed me. They were just so drab, like, hey Pooh, you know, like, how are you?
Right.
Just not a fan.
I agree with that. I wasn't a fan growing up. I'm more of a fan now of their horror than I am anything. And the guy who makes that, Scott Chambers, I'm a huge fan of him. And I know for a lot of people, they probably see it different. Like they just judge the movie itself. But like knowing that guy's backstory, that he made like 50 features in 5 years, and he was just really determined to make this film thing happen. And finally, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey happens for him. He gets a hit in his hand. Now he's got distribution. Everything he touches is going to movie theaters. He's a young guy. He's got a lot of films under his belt. He works really quickly. Like he's like the version of me, but without a family or anything holding him. I think he doesn't have anything holding him down. So he's moving 10 times faster than the average human being. I don't think he has kids or a significant other at the moment. I think he's just riding solo, but he is killing it. He's done the Peter Pan, Neverland Nightmare, the Winnie the Pooh movies. He's got a Bambi horror film coming out now.
Wow.
Who would have ever thought we would see some shit like that?
I like what he did with the storyline, but I love that he added torture elements into it because I'm a huge fan of torture.
Yeah, like torture porn and shit, like the Saw stuff.
Yeah. I love it. I don't know why, because that shit can actually happen to you. Maybe that's why it makes it more scary to me. But
well, I think I don't know if it's that I love torture or I love practical effects, because like when I watch that stuff, I'm just so amazed and it excites me to see them pull off these effects, but then they look so real, it gets me to the edge of my seat and I kind of like cringe a little bit, like, oh shit, this is deep, this is dark. But I know that blood is Kuro syrup and coffee grounds and red food coloring, so it's like a big and you know, latex and silicone. So that part of my brain is like, it's playing tug of war with like, yo man, like it's crazy that you know this is fake, but you're on the edge of your seat just like, holy shit, man. Like I feel like I'm skydiving right now. It's a rush.
that's probably why I like 911 so much. This guy in this episode I watched yesterday sneezed and his gut split open and all of his guts like poured out. And it was like it was done really well. But they do have some scenes in there like that. It's kind of cool.
I'm sure we talked about this before, but it's been a long time. And we'll talk about that in a second. Why it's been so long, other than us being busy. But I forget, like, how do you feel about CGI in films?
It depends on how it's done, to be honest. If it's overly done, it can look super fake.
Yeah.
I like a more natural, you know, I like the style. Yours is good. I like the style that you do because it seems more natural and it's not like overly edited, and it just, you know, those really fake scenes where it doesn't even look like, I mean, the gore is there, but it just looks impossible.
Yeah. I've been seeing more and more where I think people are getting better with the CGI, but I still don't like to see it. Like, I'm glad that they're trying to make it look more realer, but I seen this scene in this movie within the last couple of weeks. I forget which movie it was. Maybe it was Wolfman. I don't know, but it was a scene where this head got taken off, and they had like this little CGI squirt of blood, and I was just like, dude, I don't know. Like, I can't imagine having $1 million production, which I think, by the way, I think it was probably 20 million for the movie I watched. And then having a little squirt of fake blood. Like,
Right.
how can you get that far and just say, hey, can you throw in a squirt of some fake blood right there? Why? Like, my mind's just like, just slip a hose up under the back of there through that person's neck, hide it in there, put some blood around it, hit a fucking pump and give a real squirt. Like, it just looks so much better. Like, I hate when you're watching a movie and it's great, and then all of a sudden some cheap ass CGI happens.
Like in the Piranha movies, the Piranha 3D, it was just overly done, but it was hilarious and it was still a good movie. Or Sharknado, I wanted to love Sharknado so bad, but I just couldn't. I mean, they had an opportunity there that they blew.
Yeah, I agree. I personally think what happened there, I think what saved those movies and makes them to where you can watch them and enjoy them is the fact that they do have comedy to them.
Mm-hmm. They're funny. I mean, anytime you see a shark like swimming around in a tornado, like, you know, coming at you with his teeth, hey, how can you not laugh at that? But
that was gnarly.
It's just not realistic at all.
I think I'm gonna go put on Sharknado when we get off this stream. I think I'm gonna go rewatch that. There are some times like I seen Shark. Was it Shark of the Cord? And I had to watch that just based on the title. I'm like, what the hell is this shit? Or Ouija Shark, and you know
There's
shark.
A Ouija shark.
Yes.
Oh, I need to see that. There's a Clown in the Cornfield coming out. I want to see that one. That looks pretty good.
Dude, you have no idea how gutted I was about that.
Did you see it?
No, I want to, but you know, do you remember when you flew in and we were talking and stuff? I told you I had a film called Cornzo.
Uh-huh.
Well, whenever I heard about Clown in a Cornfield coming out, I cried because I had the same fucking idea about this killer clown in a cornfield. The script I wrote for it's called Cornzo. His name was Cornzo. And we were getting ready to fire that up this year. And like 3 months later, a trailer drops for this movie. And I see Clown in a Cornfield. And I'm like, oh my God, please tell me this is a fake trailer. Like this is something that somebody made. This isn't real. And fire started, and it actually looks really good. It's done really well. I'm happy for them. I'm just, kind of bummed that I wrote a whole script about a clown in a cornfield. And now somebody else has beat me to it. But it is what it is. It takes a lot of work to write a script, man. I mean, 177 pages, for something almost pushing 2 hours. So
you can just tweak it a little, maybe. Like 15 other people are going to start trying to copy it, though. So maybe you do the better version.
Yeah, it was suggested to me by Alicia and even my oldest son, Anthony, like maybe, change it from being a clown to something else and just tweak a couple things. And I definitely could do that. It was a bummer.
Could do like a groundhog or something.
Dude, I even ordered the costume that the clown was going to wear. I found like this vintage clown costume from like 1960. And wow. I ordered it and stuff like months ago, way before it was ever announced this movie was coming out. And, it looks like I'm going to be able to use that costume from another film I have in the pipeline. But it just was kind of a gut hit. And Alicia was like, well, at least you're thinking in the right quarters. Like, look, like you had this idea, and obviously they were filming it when you were writing it. And
right.
So you're thinking in the right ballpark, but it's hard for me to look at it that way. So
I get it. Yeah. I mean, I would still watch yours too, but I get it. That same thing has happened to me with a character that I wrote as a little kid. I had a moink, but it was a cow pig. And then I start seeing other books where people have already done that because I was writing a children's book. And it's like it was copywritten, but not really. Like a teacher had wrote about it, and it pissed me off when I saw that. I'm like, but that's mine. That's my idea. So I know how you feel.
It's a weird feeling, man. It's happened to me a couple times in my lifetime where I've come up with something, then I've seen somebody else do it. But yeah, without going too far down that line, because it still pisses me off when I think about it, because I'm like, I was so close. I was gonna start production on it this year.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, shit, okay, well, that one's off, Luckily I've got plenty of scripts, and it's kind of easy to find something else. It sucks. There was a lot of time writing, but it's been a while for us to get back here and do this. We were going pretty consistent at it, and everything was going good. We were in the building stages of a new channel here. This is way different content than what people are used to knowing me for, but everything was going good, and life got busy, and I opened a store and was doing movies, and we kind of got away from what we were doing on this channel, and I've never wanted to abandon this channel, and I love this kind of content. It's never been one of those things for me where, oh, if this makes money, it will be worth it, or we need to make money to keep it going. Like,
right.
I think it's obviously we have a passion for watching movies, and
shooting the shit.
And shooting the shit. Yeah. It's fun shooting the shit with you. And I love shooting the shit in general. I'm a shit shooter, but, but I love this. I mean, I would say that I would do this whether we were recording it or not, but I know people will love it too, because I love listening to things like this. I love hearing people talk about movies and things that I'm interested in. And I find myself a lot of times when I'm driving to head to my shop or go film somewhere, I'll put on a podcast and listen to them talk. And I'm like, you know what, dude, like we can have these same interesting conversations, and we're very knowledgeable about this stuff, filmmaker, writer, movie lovers. We watch a lot, obviously. And so I'm excited to say that I'm getting back to it. And I want, I would like to have you on again, you know, as much as we can have you, of course.
You know, I'm always here. I always try to make myself available. I'm that our time, our schedules, and you're 2 hours ahead of me, so that makes it difficult for us sometimes. But
It is. I'm an old man. I be going to bed early now, guys. Like sometimes, man, I'm usually in bed by this time. I know that sounds so crazy, but that is one thing that sucked for both of us is, you know, by the time it comes 10 o'clock and you might be able to jump on, I'm over here, you know, snoring away. So, but we'll see what we can do. We'll try and get them in when we can. Let's talk real quick and we'll wrap up about Cock Killer. You got to, we flew you in for Cock Killer. We got to film and the movie is wrapped. It's in pre-order stages now. It's doing good. And this is going to be the second movie that you're in within a 2-year period. That's pretty cool.
I mean, I've had a lot of fun doing this, and I would like to do more just so I can practice and get better at it. This one was a little more challenging for me. I don't know, you know, I had a lot of stuff going on in my life at the time too. So mentally, I wasn't in the same place as I was maybe when I did Mallet 2, because man, that Mallet 2 was great. I loved that one. I haven't seen Cock Killer yet. I'm excited. Like all I've seen is a trailer, and the trailer looks amazing. So I don't know what to what to expect, but I know since you put it together, it's going to be amazing. And the acting, it was different. The clown costume is hilarious, or not the clown costume. The cock costume is hilarious.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Mallet 2, it flowed like water. And Cock Killer did not flow like water in any step of the way. It was actually my first time in my film career that it was, I won't say that it was rocky. It was just one thing after another. And you know, if you ever noticed, like you have a year that's a good year, you have a year that's a weird year. Like it's like, okay, this is my year. Like I feel it, and throughout the year, it's like, dude, this is a good year. Then some years is like a little weird. I felt like as far as like when I started, everything I started last year, it was a good year, but it all kept coming down to learning balance, and nothing was helping me learn balance. Like I would book a location for Cock Killer. We're supposed to have it for 9 hours. The day before they tell me, oh, you're only going to have it for 3 hours. And, you know, in those situations, I had promised people 9 hours worth of pay. So I'm paying them for 9 hours, even though it's being shot in 3. And then I'm having to, you know, cut shot ideas and things like that. And luckily, happily, the scene still came out good. But there was a couple situations like that. Oh, you got 5 hours here tonight. Oh, sorry, you got 2 hours here now. And there was a lot of that. And I ended up having to do some rewrites along the way. I had to cut some scenes. I had a problem with actors. I would book somebody, they'd be all locked in, and the day of, everybody's on their way there, and somebody would call out, and it was like, oh shit, like these people have taken off of work. I still have to pay them. So there was some headaches like that. And when it was finally done, it was such a relief. It was such a brick off the chest. It's not a very technical film. There was supposed to be a lot more than what ended up in the cut. But I'm happy with the cut, and I would never put out anything that I don't like. And I like the film, and I think people are going to like the film. It is funny. It is bloody. It's gory. You're going to get everything from me that you would expect. And it was cool to have you in another one, and you really were dealing with a lot. So I really do sincerely appreciate you for taking the time to come during that time, because I mean, with your grandmother being, you know, sick and just other things and being busy, man, that meant a lot. So
I think I was just what you said. Everybody has their years, their up years, their down years. I had a bad 6 months, and I was mentally, it got to me. Yeah. So, I mean, you know my personality. I'm very easygoing and goofy and friendly, and I just was for months just complaining all the time, and I let every little thing get to me, and it really affected a lot in my life at the time. But I mean, I gave you my word that I was going to be there, and I wanted to make sure I showed up for you.
You did, and I think you did a good job, by the way. I think that you mentioned something earlier before we started streaming. We weren't, because you living in Colorado, me living here, our press schedules, there was no table reads, there was no rehearsals. And moving forward, with any film I do, that's going to be a very important thing, especially in parts where people have dialogue and stuff.
I was prepared for that to match the other person's energy that came in. He came up to me, "Hey, you want to rehearse our lines?" I'm like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm your partner." And I'm like, "Oh, hi, I'm Krista." And then he had a completely different energy than what I was practicing in my head, and it threw me off. And that just took the one thing to throw me off, and I was like a babbling idiot. I felt like.
I don't think so. I think the final. I think sometimes, the way that it happens to us, like, well, okay, for you don't see it through the camera.
Mm-hmm.
You see it from your point of view, and you're probably like, oh, this looks weird or feels weird. But you got to know the person shooting it wouldn't shoot anything that looked weird or didn't look right. And then when it puts together, like, I've worked some miracles, and I'm not saying I had to do that with this film, but I've worked some miracles with, like, the Coulter short film I did. I won't say who, but there was an actor or actress, I'll leave it open like that I worked with on that film, and it was very hard to work with them, and so much so I had them lined up to be in other things, and I can't work with them ever again. It was very, very stressful. It was almost impossible to edit it and even make it look good. And somehow that fucking film has won 3 fucking awards. So I am good at what I do as far as editing goes, but you don't ever want to take your baby and say, I made it work. So, I truly was happy with the finished product, and I think it looked better from my end. And I think what I edited and put together, it flows as it should, as it was meant to be. A comedy is so different.
Mm-hmm.
A comedy is so different. Could Cock Killer be better than it is? Any film could be better than it is. Titanic could be better than it was. Like, you can't do that to yourself. You always do your best, and you put it out. And I've seen things that people hate that they've put out, $1 million movies, and I love them. Mm-hmm. I heard somebody say that the other day, that they hated this movie that they had put out, and I'm like, I love that movie. So when it's your baby, this as a writer, you're your own worst critic, right? How many times have you looked at something and like, I'll read something you've written. Mm-hmm. I'm like, dude, this is ready to put out. And you're like, oh, it's almost done.
I'm not done. I keep going back and fixing it. Like, I started working on my book again. I told you I was going to do that. I'm not quite doing it every day, but I am doing it, and it will get done. Like, I made that a priority. But like, every little page, it's like, oh, this could be better, or I should rewrite this, or how can I make this scene better? That's just how creatives work. Right. And you really are your own worst enemy. And I know, like, for you, like you said, you're behind the camera. You have the creative control. You know what you want and what you don't want. And for me, being there on the other side and knew it, the whole acting thing, even though it's so much fun, like, I didn't have a doubt that you would put anything out that wouldn't be great anyway. So,
well, no, and I appreciate the confidence, and I am super happy that the film is now in the family. It's in the catalog, and I think people are going to really enjoy it. And I've watched it a few times now. Just after it being finalized, I watched it on a huge TV in my living room. I watched it on my phone. I even watched it on the computer, just watching it on different sources and seeing, like, the color and it looks good. I'm super stoked about it. And I learned some stuff along the way, and I think that's the most important thing. And the most, for me, it was just, again, when people tell me I have 9 hours from now on, you're going to put that shit in writing.
Right.
Go there. If I show up there and you don't have 9 hours, you know, I I don't even want to talk about that part of it. You know, I just say like your word has got to be your word.
Amen to
Because I
that.
mean,
You were so stressed that day when you found out that your time was cut in half.
yeah,
Because I mean, we all needed time to like get prepared and get the vibe together, and it was just like this is all we have to do it. Just got to do it, get it done, and get out.
right.
Yeah, I
And I
can
mean
see.
that is one difference I will say. That is one luxury that a lot of independent filmmakers do not have. You're working with lower budgets. Um, I'm pretty sure, and here's the sad part. I wasn't gonna say this, but I'll say this now. Um, I felt like, and by the way, I paid really good for those locations, but I think it was one of those things where they almost thought to themselves, and this sucks. He's got money. I'll tell him his time's cut and we'll see if he offers up to go longer.
Mm,
And I'm like, when you agree on something, you agree on something. Don't do your research, then come back to the table and say, oh, well, this is a movie, you know, like we can probably squeeze more. Let's tell them they only have 3 hours. And then that happened a few different times, a few different locations. And, you know, they didn't get it. It didn't work out. It didn't work out so good. But what they did sacrifice is we would have used their locations multiple times had we not cut things from the movie and had to do rewrites. So they would have got a lot more business out of us. And, you know, I think just moving forward, we always usually do have people sign on or for certain things. And I think moving forward, it's like if somebody doesn't sign on, whether location or actor, I'm sorry, we can't use you or the location because you know, we put a lot into that. You can't get there the day of or the day before and them say, you know,
right.
oh, sorry, you know, we're cutting your time in half. It's like, shh.
And I came there from Colorado. It's like if I couldn't have I would have been able to stay if you needed me to, but not everybody has that luxury to be able to do that.
Right.
There's a lot of things working with that whole scenario that
Yeah,
people just don't respect time.
I agree. And that was the first time I really had to deal with that. Mallet 1, Mallet 2. It was so easy, flowed like water. And I owned the locations that we used in Mallet 1. So, you know, that was super easy. But
You know, the second day of shoots for Cop Killer 2, the park happened to be closed that day. Remember, we had to like
right.
climb the gate or whatever to get it, but it's like, why was it closed? It's like
That
just
was a pain in the butt too. We had to hike to the location where we had to film, and it just happened to magically they blocked us off the day that we were, you know, going to be there. So yeah, hey, listen, everything that could go wrong went wrong, and we still made it through the storm. And you know, the final piece, the master file, looks good. It's into print, waiting on DVDs as we speak. Anybody that pre-orders is getting their copy in earlier July, and you'll get your copy as soon as they're available. Because everybody that acts in our film, man, in any of our films, as soon as DVDs are available, we send them a copy right away so they can have it and share it with their families if they want, or you know, just have it. And this one's cool because not only are people who pre-order getting a DVD, but they're getting a limited edition Cop Killer sticker, and they're getting a piece of the costume with the COA.
oh,
So
nice.
yeah,
Um,
so we
Everybody get a little bit of the movie merch. I got some from Mallet.
I know, yeah, you got the head from Mallet too, and that was so cool for you to. I was so happy to give that to you because like that scene, man. You know, I had some guy walk into the store about a month ago, and he was like, dude, I love Mallet too. And I'm like, oh, thank you. I was like, how do you know about it? I was like, do you know me from YouTube? He's like, oh, you do YouTube? I was like, oh shit, well, how do you know? And he didn't know me from YouTube. He was like, man, he was like, I was just looking online and I seen it. And he said, I went down the rabbit hole. And I'm like, wait, this guy owns a store in Dothan, Alabama. He was like, I'm a gamer. So he's like, I wanted to come check out your store. He said, I had no idea you would be here. I was like, wow, dude, I said, appreciate it. I said, what was your favorite scene in the movie? He said, dude, that hooker getting the mallet through the head in that one scene. He said, that was my favorite scene. And
That
I,
was fun.
I was like, dude, you missed her. She was just here like a month ago.
When I was in your store a month ago, somebody came in, they were talking about the movie, and they're like, oh yeah, I love that Trailer Park Teen. And you're like, that was her. And they're like,
Oh yeah, I remember that. That happened too. Yeah.
they're like, I don't even recognize you without the wig on.
Dude, a lot of people come in the store that buy the film just based on that little sign I put there that support indie horror filmmaker, owner of Retro Reware. People, I mean, we sell DVDs in there every week, and there are people that don't know who we are. So I mean, we're making some noise out there in the indie world of horror, and we got some huge things happening moving forward, things we can't talk about, things we'll talk about hopefully soon. And hopefully we'll have you back on again sometime in the very near future, Miss Krista.
Of course, you just got to ask, and I will try to be there.
Ask and you shall receive.
If you build it, they will come.
Ooh, they will come. What they will come? Who's gonna come? Jesus Christ. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for being on again, Krista. We missed you.
I missed you guys too. It's been too long. We can't wait this long again. Just can't.
We definitely will not wait this long again, guys. I promise. But smash that thumbs up, comment below, share this on social media. Cock Killer pre-orders are open. Go to cockkiller.com or go to deanshaunted mansion.com if you don't want cock in your browser history. But yeah, pre-order now so you guys can make sure you lock in to get that limited edition sticker, piece of the costume, and get the movie before anybody else does, because it doesn't officially drop until July 28th. So all right, guys, we're gonna jump off here, but until next time, sweet nightmares. Love you all.